Good morning. Jesus taught with parables. And so today Sidney Viles and I are going to tell you a parable, the parable of Scott. And because the last show that Scott directed here was Godspell, a musical and a collection of Jesus' parables, we are telling this parable in
Godspell style.
This is the parable of the lawyer who became a pastor. Once, a dozen years or so ago, there was a lawyer and self-proclaimed agnostic. Now, the lawyer walked his dog down this very street, and as he passed, he looked through the window, and he saw his friend, Don Distan. Don was a friend of Scott's from the secular world, and he was a saint of the church. Don was standing, singing a hymn with the rest of the congregation, and the lawyer thought to himself,
If Don could go to this church, it can't be that bad.
Eventually, the lawyer had a free Sunday, and he decided to visit the church. He came in, he stayed, he joined the choir, and he enjoyed himself immensely. He became a Christian. He joined the church. And then he was baptized on the chancel steps with his friend Tom Thresher as a witness. Now, after Scott attended church for a bit, he went to the minister and suggested a crazy idea. He asked if the church would be willing to sponsor a theater ministry that brought youth and adults together with experienced actors from the community. The church gave its blessing, and Scott asked Sue Labason if she would like to help him start what became Community Family Players. So, for 7 years, Scott worked with at least 100 children and a similar number of adults to produce plays like A Christmas Carol.
God bless us, everyone.
Alice in Wonderland.
Off with her head.
Sound of Music.
How do you solve a problem like Maria?
The Wizard of Oz.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Peter Pan.
I won't grow up.
And Godspell.
Day by day.
10 shows. Experienced actors, directors, including the talented Doug McKenzie, choreographers, set designers, musicians, vocal coaches,
Project!
and a host of amateur volunteers held auditions, rehearsed, and produced full-scale, incredibly high-quality plays. Scott reported many miracles during the work on these shows. Scott shrugged and was mostly humble, but it was a magnificent magnificent ministry full of spirit that affected many lives in positive ways and still ripples throughout the community. Now secretly, the lawyer, turned Christian, began to work online. He Googled seminaries. He emailed admissions offices at UCC seminaries, but he dared not say aloud that he was hearing a call to go into the ministry full time. But finally, the voice that was calling him became so loud that others began to hear it too.
Can you guys hear that?
So once again, Scott talked about yet another crazy idea. More holy skids came into place, and in 2003, Nancy and Scott bravely sold their house. And in this case, it was Nancy, Forrest, Robin, and Jordan who were most brave. The lawyer closed his law practice and followed his call to Eden Theological Seminary in St. Louis. The people of the congregation cried to see them leave, and Scott's family was equally sad to leave Lincoln City. But everyone tried to understand that Scott would soon be using his crazy ideas and holy skids to give his gifts as pastor of a church. 3 long years in seminary were completed. Scott passed his ordination exams and ecclesiastical council, and Scott received a call to a UCC church in Florida. The people gathered to celebrate the return of the Elliott family and Scott's ordination. So, our parable is complete, except for one thing. All parables have a lesson, and the lesson here is a very simple one. Be careful where you walk your dog.